Hello, in this video I will briefly explain the dwgCompare product. Installation of the product is very similar to CAD-conform, so I will skip that part. After installation in program files Altiva software, new folder is created and its name is dwgCompare. Within that folder user has following structure. So as you can see, it's very similar to CAD-conform folder structure with one exception. Here in samples folder there are a number of dwg files that I will use and you can use for demonstration. Also, as in CAD-conform, there is license folder. We have extracted node lock licensing from CAD-conform and included it in dwgCompare, so it works the same way as in CAD-conform. You can use any evaluation license that is valid for CAD-conform, also any CAD-conform 8 valid license that is copied here and named dwg merge .lits will work. I will explain it in an email in the details. So in AutoCAD, this product dwgCompare is can be used through ribbon or through menu items. There are three basic functions here. The first function is compare two dwg files. As I said, and as Pierce asks for the default for this two files are files from our sample folder. If you use it on other files, you will have history here that will enable you to quickly select the files, or you can use browse dialog to select any dwg file. Anyway, there's a number of options here, but since this should be a relatively short video, I will just use defaults. So we press run button and dwg explores analyze files and list the differences between them. So quickly, all differences are listed here in the dialog in these 5 tabs. First tab is basic tab. It has basic properties, as you can see: measurement, linear units, linear precision, etc. The next list here in this tab is system variables. So dwgCompare compares the system variables in two files and presents results here. This list of system variables to be compared can be edited, but I will not talk about that. About configuration, I will not talk here in this video. Also, this part, system variables comparison, is not available in the free version. So this is commercial version and it's listed here. Next tab is general settings tab. So in this tab we list the differences between layers, line tabs, text styles, dimension styles and other items that we have named as a general settings in a CAD-conform. So for example, layer comparison, we have 14 differences. This option is available both in free version and commercial version. It just summarizes these differences with the list of layers that exist only in file 1 or only in file 2 or in both files but with different properties. The details options is available only here in commercial version and it's not available in the free version. It will tell you the same thing, but you will have much more details. So for example, for those two layers that are that exist in both files but with different properties, you get the list of properties and exclamation mark with those that are different. So for example, bridges layer exists in both files, but its color is different in the file 1 and in file 2. The same thing goes here for concrete layer. other layers either exist in one file or the other file. You can select this display here like this, so you can select only different layers, or you can select different identical layers, or if you like, you can search by name. So if you put something like this, anyway, there is a number of ways that you can quickly find and focus to the items that you want. Next is, for example, dimension style comparison. Again, here in free version options we have only summary of differences, but in details options you get the more detailed explanation. So what are two differences? First, there is a standard that is named copy of standard that exists in file 1, but it doesn't exist in file 2. Also, the standard file, the standard style that exists in both files have following different properties. So it's the other dimension style difference, and so on. Model paper tab. If there are layouts that exist in one file or the other, but if there are one-sided layouts, you will get the lists of them here. I don't think so that we have that case here. It's the both files have the same layouts. And then there is details tab, where you have list of all differences, no matter layers, text style, dimension styles, or drawing entities that are listed here. So this is most interesting for drawing entities. So in model space entities, for example, you will be able to focus to any individual item that is making a difference. So for example, you can see here it's the line that exists in file 1 but not in a file 2. Same way you can, for example, focus here to the polyline that exists in both files, but it has different properties. As you can see here in file 1 it's yellow, and here in file 2 it's red. And you can also see that there are elements like this polyline that exist in file 2 but not in file 1. You can quickly, for example, filter this and say I want to see only entities that exist in both files, for example. So here in list you get a filter of entities that exist in both files. There's a number of options here for zooming, for changing the views, for finding the entities that you want to, but as I said, this should be a relatively short video without too many details, so we can talk about that later. Ignore tab is the tab for ignored entities. So as you can see here, there is option to ignore off-layer entities, ignore frozen layer entities, and these entities actually are displayed here in this ignore tab. So as you can see, the file 1 has 4 entities either on off or frozen layer. So that's it. Next function in product is compare directory to directory. This option is available only in commercial version, and it compares contents of 2 directories. So again, we are using samples from our samples directory. We have 2 sets of files. It's 4 files in each one of them, and using this option, dwgCompare will first find matching files by its names in these two directories, and then it will compare those files. So to make myself more clear, here we have 4 files as a set 1. Set 2 is created from the same files copied, but one of the files is changed. So we will see now that dwgCompare will find that file and it finds what is different in it. So pressing run, we will start the process. It will take a while. And as you can see, 4 files are listed, 3 files are identical, it's those 3 files, the number of differences is 0, and the 4th file is file with differences. There are 30 differences. In order to see what differences are, we select this file in a list and then press compare dwg button. Now now we get comparison, we get detailed comparison between these two files. So there are 30 errors. If we switch to details, we can see that one of these differences is actually differences in the layers, and the other 29 are actually differences in visual entities. So let's first see here about layer. We can see that there is one layer that exists in both files, but with a different color. Then we switch back to details and go and inspect those different entities. So since I've changed it, I know what the difference is. One difference is this text. So you can see there is text element with a change in text content. The next element is this block reference. Actually, it's a legend that exists only in one file, and other elements are just the lines representing it's 20 or something lines representing staircase that is removed from this file. So as you can see, it was very easy and efficient way to find what the file is making difference in a file set and what these files and what these differences in the files actually are. The third option that is also available only in commercial version, not in the free version, is this one. It's compare files to template. The idea is to make some kind of basic standards checking. So in a template you would put your layers, styles, text styles, line types, eventually blocks, and compare that file with a bunch of other dwg files placed in a directory. So we are interested only in general settings. We will uncheck scan model space and scan paper space and run comparison. And now you can see really that there are differences between each of these files compared to its template. So for example, this one, template is just a file with our old watermark block and with a group of layers and styles and so on. So here again you can see that there are a number of layers elements that are identical, but there are also a number of layers that are different in these two files. So only other thing that I want to show in this demo is related to the xref files. It was not finished a year ago when Pierce has chance to see this functionality. So we will compare two dummy files but with nested xrefs in them. So let's first select the this file a.dwg